All right, so then I will count us down and we will go in 3, 2, 1. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Jeff Rick here, coming to you from Austin, Texas. Not in the home studio today. Work 20XX is on the road. We're excited to come down here and visit with our friends at Running Remote because, as we learned from Darren Murph a long time ago, all remote companies do things that all companies should be good at. So whether you're all remote, hybrid, distributed, or whatever, this is all great lessons that you can put into play and improve your communications, efficiency, etc. And we're excited to have our next guest. He's Justin Harlan, the Managing Director of Tulsa Remote. Justin, great to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thanks for hosting last night. Had a nice
sure.
little opening cocktail reception.
Yeah, it was a good time.
So I have to admit, I was a little confused. I saw the flags. I wasn't super familiar with Tulsa Remote, and I'm like, I think we're in Austin, and there's signs all over the place here for Tulsa, and it's not like a cool name at a local company. It's actually Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So for people who aren't familiar, give them a little 101 on what is Tulsa Remote all about.
Sure. Well, we started a program back in 2019, really in an effort to diversify our labor workforce in Tulsa, Oklahoma, an industry or a city that is often reliant on oil and gas as an industry. And really, we're looking for knowledge workers to come to the city and, help us just be ready for the future. And so we extended an offer, which was really unique at the time, which was $10,000 cash.
What year did you start it?
2019.
Okay.
$10,000 cash for you to come and do your remote job in Tulsa for a year. And we just were really placing a bet that if we could get people to the city, they would fall in love with the city and stick around. And certainly had no idea how big it would get or how fast it would get this big, but started out small with about 70 people that came in 2019. And we, have a lot of community integration strategies that help people get plugged into the community. And then obviously the pandemic happened, and we just grew like crazy. We just celebrated our 3,500th member that's moved to the city, and there's a ton of gain, both economically and for the community that has come from the program.
So looking back to 2019, if you started it, somebody was thinking about it a little bit earlier than that. Where did it even come from? Because, clearly once COVID hit, it was a different game, but 2019, 2018, it wasn't obvious that remote work as kind of a category was super special or going to explode.
Really primarily for knowledge workers. At the time, it was just a good percentage of folks that were actually working remotely that were knowledge workers.
Right, that's great. So COVID hits and time passes, and suddenly there's like all these countries actually that are having kind of remote work visas that are making it easy for people to go work in Portugal or wherever all these places are. There's not as much talk, or maybe I haven't been paying attention, in terms of you don't have to go overseas. You can do that, and there's a really unique opportunity here in Tulsa. How are you getting your message out? Where are some of these people coming from? How are they hearing about the program?
Yeah, well, there are a number of programs like this in the States now. There's actually about 70 that have replicated what we've done. You can actually go to makemymove.com, and it's a company that has really leaned into the idea that tech talent especially doesn't only belong on the coast, and that you can really find a higher quality of life in the heartland and still, even in that, get better at what you're doing at work and more productive because you're more satisfied as a human being. So there are a number of programs that have kind of replicated what we've done, even stateside.
How did you even think that this was going to happen?
Oh, yeah.
Just because they were out there, or did you do some survey, or you just knew that this has got to grow?
Well, I mean, to me, it's really a belief in Tulsa. Yeah, that there's not a lot of folks that are, aware of what's happening in Tulsa. And so especially if we could reach the folks that are maybe paying twice as much for a smaller apartment that are living in LA or New York or Austin, and show them what the quality of life looks like, and also invite them to be part of a community in a job that is often very isolated as a remote worker. We really believe that would speak to people, that not only are you going to have a lower cost of living, but that's going to open up a higher quality of life, which just makes you, a better and more complete human being as a whole. And in Tulsa, we often see that there's people who get more time back, and they also get more money. And when you nurture that environment and really provide that opportunity for people, then they are able to do things that they may not be able to do in other cities, like open businesses, get involved in boards, contribute to the community. And we really see that coming to life in awesome ways with Tulsa Remote.
Right, that's cool. So you said there's an application process. There's money that changes hands. So what's kind of the application process? What are you looking for? Is it a big gate? Is it limited slots? Is there anything specific that you prefer or don't prefer? What's kind of the application process?
We try to make it really easy on people. The application should take you about 15 minutes. You do that online. We then go through an interview process if you get to that stage. And then if you do get in, we pay for you to come and visit. So up to $500 in reimbursement. We do a couple days worth of programming every month where you can come and see the city, kind of test drive it before you decide whether you want to move. And then from the day you get in, you have a year to move to Tulsa.
Okay.
We look for people that are going to contribute to the economy. So we really look for folks that are going to bring a good salary with them. Our average salary is about $100,000, but our floor is much lower than that. We also look for very specific types of jobs, so those that are not just going to duplicate what we already have in Tulsa, but be additive to the economy. And then we look for folks that are going to contribute to the community. So, you have a track record of plugging into the community you're coming from. You've thought about Tulsa and how you're going to get involved. And ultimately, we're really looking for people that are going to, be open to the idea of sticking around for a little while.
Right. So do you have X number of seats per year, something like that you've just got money for, or no?
We don't. No,
Okay.
we're privately funded and really excited about whoever takes us up on this offer. And if we can find the right folks that are meeting all those qualifications, we're excited to help you come.
That's cool. Talk a little bit about the funding. I
Sure.
think it's a private individual or foundation behind it. Who or what organization's behind it, and why did they decide to take this step?
Yeah, it's the George Kaiser Family Foundation, and they really started their efforts as a foundation in early childhood education with the idea that no matter where you're born in Tulsa, you should have the same opportunity. And I think what they learned through starting in education is that there's a lot more factors that go into somebody's life outcomes outside of just education, right? How is the family life at home, criminal justice, food security, and so they've slowly started kind of building blocks around that core function of early childhood education. And one of the things they've really invested in over the last 10 years is placemaking, making Tulsa a place that people want to be and want to come and visit and want to live, and then building up some economic development programs around the place that people want to be now. And I think it's really, almost kind of serendipitous, because I believe when I moved to Tulsa 20 years ago, it was a completely different city. I don't think Tulsa Remote would have worked 20 years ago because it just wasn't the same city that it is today. And so it kind of takes all of those pieces working in tandem to make it an attractive place that people would even come if you're paying them to move there. So it's really an amazing, conglomeration of a lot of efforts over the last couple of decades.
So what's happened with the people that have done it? Both some of the earlier people and some of the later people. How many are stayed? Do they stay in their job? Do they stay and swap jobs? Do they create new things? How's the community kind of developed? 3,500 people. That's a lot of people.
Sure. So we know that anyone that's moved there since 2019, about 75% of them are still around Tulsa today.
75%.
75%. A couple of economic stats that are awesome. For every 2 people that we pay to move, there's an additional person that comes. So in a city like Tulsa, that's about 400,000 people. We know that we're responsible for about 5,000 people moving to the city. So that obviously helps a ton with net migration and just growing the city as a whole, increasing tax dollars. Last calendar year alone, we contributed over $600 million to the economy. And we know that for every dollar that we're spending on the incentive, there's about a $13 return on that investment to the community. And then we do know that our folks bring an entrepreneurial spirit. About 1 in 5 people has either started a business or a nonprofit or sat on a board and is just contributing in meaningful ways there.
Well, Justin, that's a great success story. That sounds like it's working out even better than maybe you anticipated.
For sure. I mean, obviously we didn't predict the pandemic, but we have latched on to that and really provided, used that as an opportunity to help the city grow in meaningful ways. And it's been an awesome success story that I'm lucky to be a part of.
That's great. Well, thanks for taking a few minutes. I guess I'll have to get out in Tulsa and visit you one of these days.
We'd love for you to come. And if folks want to check us out, it's tulsaremote.com, and there's certainly a lot more information there that you could learn.
Great. And again, thanks for sponsoring Running Remote. It's a really important show.
Thank you.
All righty. He's Justin. I'm Jeff. You're watching Work 20XX on the road from Austin, Texas at Running Remote. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening on the podcast. Catch you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.